Alright, let's do something a little tougher. Here's a really cool statement that I found in your textbook. I would actually like to see this one day because this is pretty amazing. Researchers at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics made an announcement in January 2001. They stated, and again this would be really cool to see, that they had frozen light in a supercooled vapor to slow the speed of light waves to zero.
Cool.
Pretty insane.
That would be awesome if they could do that.
Do you have any sense of how fast light is? Have you ever stopped to think about the speed of light?
I have, but I didn't look it up because I forgot about it.
Okay. This is the speed of light in meters per second. 299,792,458 meters every second. It goes that far.
They travel pretty fast.
I think I heard it one time that's back and forth across Canada 60 times in a second.
Oh.
That's how fast light goes. I may be wrong on that stat, but it goes ripping fast.
So like when they say...
Somebody on YouTube is now yelling at me. What?
So when you say, what's it called? So when you say you're going at the speed of light kind of thing?
That's how fast you're going.
Gracious.
Pretty much 300 million meters every second. When you think about a light year, that's how far light goes in 1 year. So it's going that fast
In 1 year?
Times 300.
for a whole year. How far would that be? Well, that would be just insanely far.
That's miles per second, so how do you have to...
That's
think
meters
about
per
it?
second.
Meters per second.
And then you think, okay, a light year is how far light goes in a year. Think about how far something is when it's like 1 million light years away. Or 1 billion light years away. That's just so hard to comprehend because light goes so fast and travels so far in a year. It's pretty insane.
Not even legible at all.
So, let's say that light was like a race car and we were tracking how fast it was going on a speedway, and we wanted to know its speed in miles per hour. So what we're going to do is we're going to convert a speed in meters per second to miles per hour. Okay, so we're going meters per second to miles per hour. Now, before we do this problem, I just want you to think about how you would try to solve it. How do you take 299,792,458 meters per second and go to miles per hour? Any ideas?
Miles, meters to miles, just change the seconds.
Good observation. You've got essentially two units of measurement. You've got distance units, the miles and the meters. You've got time units, seconds and hours. Makes things kind of tough. But thankfully, you already know the math you need to know to do this. Dimensional analysis. Here's where it really shines. So we do what we've been doing all along. We take our original measurements, 299,792,458, write it as a fraction. Now before, we usually write a 1 on the bottom of that first number. However, since this is in meters per second, you're going to have 1 second on the bottom. Right? Remember, this still means that it goes 299,792,458 meters every second. Per second. So there has to be a 1 second on the bottom. What we're going to do is, in green, I'm going to deal with going from meters to miles. And then in blue, I'm going to go from seconds to hours. Okay? So let's deal...
Seconds to hours.
Pardon me?
How do you go from seconds to hours?
We'll talk about that when we get there. Let's deal with the meters to miles first. Looking back at that table on the first page, or are you still on the first page? You're still on the first page. Do you have a conversion from meters to miles?
Yes.
Yes?
Is it? No.
You don't. So we're going to have to make a detour. What should we convert to in between?
Meters to yards,
Meters to yards, we could do that.
then yards to miles.
And then yards to miles. So let's do that. So, meters to yards. What's the relationship between meters and yards? Use an exact conversion if you can.
You can.
1 yard equals 0.9144 meters.
Good. Okay.
Oh.
Can you put that into a conversion factor?
Yes.
Okay. What goes where?
1 yard is on the top, and 0.9144 meters is on the bottom.
Good. And my meters do cancel because I have meters on the top and meters on the bottom. Good. Now I'm in yards. Now we got to get from yards to miles. Do you have a relationship between yards and miles?
Yeah.
Okay. What is it? You should know it from last day.
What?
706.
It's up on the board.
1760.
1,760 yards is 1 mile. Okay. What goes where?
1 mile on the top and 1760 on the bottom.
And the yards are canceled. And if I just stopped here, what would my units be? What are the units that are not crossed out?
S.
Seconds and miles. So if I just stopped here and did the math, I would have a measurement in miles per second. But I want miles per hour. So we need to take care of the hour now. So you asked, how do we go from seconds to hours? Well, how many seconds in a minute? Can we do that?
60.
Yeah, and then minutes to hours. 60 minutes in an hour. So we could do that. So we're going to go seconds a minute and then minutes to hours. And again, I'll do that in blue. So notice where seconds is this time. It's on the bottom. So I want, there's 60 seconds in a minute. How should I structure this next fraction so that seconds get canceled properly? What goes where?
Seconds goes on the bottom, not top.
Seconds has to go on the top because we've already got a seconds on the bottom. And then therefore a minute goes on the bottom. So the seconds units will cancel because our dimensions line up the way they should. Now I'm going, what am I going? Minutes to hours. So how many minutes in an hour?
60.
So I get 60 minutes in 1 hour. What goes where?
60 on top. Many minutes.
60 minutes on top. That'll cancel the minutes down there. And an hour on the bottom. So let's just look at what we have here. We've got 5 fractions being multiplied together. Yikes. Is it going to be in the right units? Do I have miles on top and only miles on top, and hours on the bottom and only hours on the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got miles and everything else has been crossed out, and hours down here, everything else has been crossed out. So if I carefully multiply all my tops together, multiply all my bottoms together, and then divide, my answer will be in miles per hour. Okay, so carefully do that on your calculator. Multiply all the tops, write the number down, multiply all the bottoms, write the number down, and then divide. You get?
670616629. 0.4.
6706.
16629.4.
So this is miles per hour. Is that fast?
Yeah.
670 million miles every hour. That's insane. You think about highway speeds, 70 miles per hour. Compare that to that. That's pretty hard to fathom. So, like I mentioned before, dimensional analysis is wonderful for stuff like this. Right? Because all you're doing is you're just converting each dimension one step at a time until you have what you want.